Hello and welcome to Sweaty Creek Bison. Soldier Creek Bison. It's middle of July. It is ungodly hot. It was about 101 degrees today. Probably about 95 right now. It's 6:45 in the afternoon, and the buffalo are just up over here. They were sitting down here, just at the edge of this little paddock here, just begging for me to move them. So they've only been there about 2 days, but they start getting antsy about 2 or 3 days in, and they're ready to be moved. So I'm going to move them. I'm going to show you what I've done. It's a couple of the ponds. I've got all the ponds fenced off. That second pond, which was basically the rock quarry just up over the hill here to my north, is getting close to be done. I haven't seen it, but we're going to go check it out, show you what we got going on there. But before we head out there, I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the dung beetles here in the barn. So let's go take a look. Okay, so a quick update on the dung beetles. Here are the IBC containers. In the two front ones here, I have rainbow scarabs. I fed them, I think, 2 days ago, so let's see what we can see here. So you can see them going to work, doing their thing. Here we have some rollers. Forgive me, the name escapes me. Let's hope they don't fly out. Where are they? Here they are. You can see them there, and then you can see the little, look like milk duds. In fact, you can see some even moving around right here. So you can see the more of those balls in the corner. In fact, there's two on a ball as we speak. And then these guys I was really surprised about. These are the dwellers. They really knock out the pat to where it's almost unrecognizable. Since they are dwellers, you rarely see them on the outside. They're normally inside the pat itself. They're much smaller. Man, they really go to town. And then last but certainly not least, these are the Carolinas I was talking about. These are big guys, and unfortunately I think they only really come out at night. They are tunnelers, but since I put them in, I don't see them. I see evidence of them, but I never really see them. So I've got some cheap lighting up here during the day to kind of replicate the sun, and then it does get pretty hot here in the barn, so try to cool it down. They seem to do well. I think they kind of thrive at 95 degrees. That's when breeding starts, so just trying to keep it going and see the numbers increase. Right now I've not seen any real increase in the numbers, but hopefully in time. So as you can see, it's kind of a work in progress. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to work with them, and if this is something worth doing long term, because I have to go out about every 3 or 4 days, probably 4 or 5 days, and get fresh dung, which isn't always the most pleasant experience. And I'm wondering what I'm going to do in the winter time. I'm assuming that they'll kind of go underground and go somewhat dormant. If that's the case, it's probably going to be in good shape. So we'll see how it all plays out. But let's go get that paddock set up. Make sure that the fence around the pond is visible, so as they come running in there, hopefully they don't crash through it. So we're going to put some yellow flagging tape up and see if we can't get them moved. Here we go. Okay, so this is that yellow flagging tape. I showed it in one video. Apologize for the sun. Just kind of goes up here. The buffalo have a tendency when they come into this paddock to run down here. And last time they ran all the way around and right through. This is not meant to be permanent. It's just temporary. Once they learn the boundaries, I can take this down. So I got this up. Now I'm going to go show you what we've done on the kind of the ponds to be able to allow them to drink on either side of it. So I can split this up into 2 different paddocks, and then we'll make sure the temp fence is good and move them in. Okay, so this is the pond. Here's what I currently have set up. the goal is to kind of temporary fence around this. I don't want them muddying it up. I'd like this to kind of grow into some grass so that as water comes down that hill, it gets filtered out before coming in here. So the goal is they've got two different places to drink. One here, one over there, and I can use a temp fence to split this 40 acres into two different paddocks. So I'm gonna go run some temporary fence around here, connect it up to right here, so it forces them to come in through here to drink. So obviously can't do all of them today, but someone had asked about the different type of plants we have out here, or weeds. So this one's a thorn in my side. This is known as ironweed. They can eat it, but they won't. We've got, looks like some red clover in here. It's come to seed head, which I like this. This is, this looks like a weed, but it's not. It's called a lead plant. It actually restores nitrogen back to the soil. It's supposedly a good thing. I don't like the way it looks. I never see the buffalo eat it. We have our predominant grass out here is little blue stem, which is this stuff. That's what they'll eat. And then the big blue stem is just starting to come up. See if I can find it here. Just saw it earlier. Saw you. Here you are. So this is big blue stem. See this here? It gets really tall. And the buffalo will eat that, but once it gets a certain height, they quit eating it. So all in all, the grass isn't doing too bad. It's been probably close to 30 days plus since they've been on here. So we've been dry for about 2 weeks. So I would take the rain, but I'm not complaining. I know our brothers down in Texas and out further west are really suffering. So I'm not complaining. I'm happy with what rain we've gotten. It always does get a little dry here in Kansas in the summertime. But if I leave the grass tall, I should be able to kind of suffer through it. And God always seems to give us just enough rain when we need it. So now I'm going to turn off this temporary fence. I'm going to move that reel there over to there, and I'm going to run it down across this so they're not getting in here. But I got to go turn it off. Go. This is what I'm always worried about, because we get so excited. Slow down, girls. There ain't nothing there for you but heartache. Okay. They stopped. That's a good sign. Some are coming to get water. They should start to settle in. Now you see my concern. I'm gonna go get the mineral and then we'll go check out some of the ponds, feed the fish. Okay, here's one of the ponds. It's hard to tell, but I've got it fenced off right here, and there's a hot wire that runs across, so if they start to go across, they're gonna get shocked. I've also got it split off over there so they can enter the pond over here, and I run temporary hot wire all the way up there, and that gives them 20 acres over there. They get roughly 20 acres over here, and here's where they've been the last couple days, you know, so they can mess up this, but they can't really get on the pond dam, which they've pretty much had access to for probably the last 2 years, but up until about 3 months ago, probably 2 or 3 months ago, it's now fenced off, and you can see where the water level used to be. So it's dropped a few inches, and you can see the catfish. They know it's time to eat. Whenever that mule comes up, they feel the vibration, so let's give them some food. I love how they do that, but I wonder how they do it all in unison like that. So let's go look at that last pond I've got being dug. Supposedly there's been some good progress. Let's check it out. Okay, here's the rock quarry, as we call it. And you can see why right over there. Now there's probably been 5 or 6 tractor trailer loads, and then today there's about 4 or 5 dump truck loads of just kind of loose rock moved out of here. It was it's quite the job. Still not done yet, as you can see, but we had a lot of blue shale, and he spent the time to crush up this shale. And as I understand it, shale is a component of cement. So what he's saying is, as this gets wet, it'll harden, and it should be a nice crystal clear pond, he says. So we'll see. We've cored out all the way over to here. We've cored back over here, because it's just rock ledges on either side. And we've got quite a bit of runoff, so this should start to fill up pretty quickly. And when it does rain, we should have a nice trickle in. I've bought overflow tube, but I'm not gonna put it in just yet. The spillway is gonna be over there. And so we'll just watch it, see how it fills up. And if we end up needing an overflow tube, I'll put one in. But I've got the piers cut, and I'm thinking, you know, the dock will be somewhere in this general area. You know, the sun's to my back. And we'll have at least the pier set, and maybe one day a dock. Come out here and enjoy it. So let me show you the other 2 ponds back here that I've recently fenced off. Okay, This one's a bit different in kind of how I set it up. This is the spillway, and this is basically just a solid rock ledge. There's maybe just a little bit of dirt over it, but not much else. And I fenced off this section here. Similar to my other designs, I've got, you know, a visible rope with some buoys and a hot wire that goes across. This hot wire goes up, around, down the backside of the dam, comes over, and I've got something very similar in that corner. I've got a gate where I can get to this backside of the pond dam. If I need to mow it or do anything like that, I can. And then I've got another one set up over there. Now that one is, you know, at that rope, it's well over your head. Couldn't believe how deep it was there. And then I got the solar fence charger just right up here with a 2-handle gate, so we can still get to the dock and enjoy it, and left enough area around here. Quite honestly, there's so much rock here, I couldn't have, you know, you're asking, well, why didn't you do the T-post just right next to the pond? It is just solid rock. I played hell just getting them in here and here. All over this is it's just rock everywhere. So I was kind of forced to put it up higher, and it goes up higher around there as well, for the same reason. You get into that rock, and I broke up what I could, but I wasn't going to kill myself over it. So the goal is that it keeps the pond clear, and then it gives me options to where, you know, I talked about running a hot wire north to south. We still need to do that. He's still trying to finish up that pond, and then we're going to put in some culverts in some of these draws and create a kind of a road or fence line north to south. And the thinking is there, once that's electrified, I can come off of it, or I can come off of this because there's a solar charger, and I can run temporary fence, you know, to there, to there, to there, and, you know, give them 15, 20 acres at a time. So I did something very similar in the pond just north of me. There are no fish in this one, so I'm not going to feed here, but I've got one more pond to feed up near the house, and that's got the biggest catfish, and we'll feed them there. I've got another pond that's very similar. I won't bore you with the details, but it's very similar to this, but I've really only fenced off one section for them to get water, and the rest of it is fenced off with a solar charger. So let's go feed the last of the fish. Okay, so I lied. I am gonna bore you with this other pond. This was originally probably one of our bigger ponds. It's probably the oldest pond. As you can see, there's a bunch of cattails, and behind there is where I've actually fenced it off. So just right behind the cattails, there's probably 30 feet of water, and they can drink from there. There's an overflow tube in there that goes underneath this dam and back out to Soldier Creek. And we got quite a few fish in here, but as you can see, you know, the prior owner with the cattle kind of really did a number on the banks there. You know, the buffalo would come in here and just take mud baths. So it was decided to kind of keep them off of this. So they're now fenced out of it, and hopefully in time it will heal. So let's feed the catfish. So there's some decent sized brim in here. We used to have 7 pretty big catfish. We had some heavy rains last year, and I have a feeling even there's a fence there to kind of catch on the overflow to keep the fish from going out, I think some did. I only count about 3 or 4. I don't even see them yet. There's one. This is probably one of my favorite ponds. You can see the kind of the red-winged blackbirds. You can hear them. I just really like this pond. Okay, last pond by the house, and we'll call it a day. Real quick, these are the solar charges that I use. So concrete them in the ground, drove a ground rod beside it, and I don't have to worry about getting electricity out to it. So it's pretty strong enough to keep the buffalo at bay. Main thing is with this one, like the other ones, just need to make sure they can see it. On the other fence, you saw I put those temporary fence posts, and I may do that, or I may just run the yellow flagging tape temporarily until they realize it's here. So I got a phone call. It appears he needs my help with something. Sadly, as I mentioned, that blue shale is like concrete. And if it gets caked up in there, this won't run tomorrow. At least it won't run very easily. So this needs to look like this. So I'm gonna get to shoveling. It's never done. Okay, they're already swimming around, so they know what's up. So here we go. I'm just going to give it all to them. You gotta love that. Well guys, I know it's mid-a-minute. I wanted to try to put out a quick update video. As you can see, there's a bunch going on, and with the heat of the summer, sometimes it's just so hard to try to put a video together. But I'll be digging a water line for the corral here soon. Hope to get some video of that. I have some drone videos that I may post towards the end of this, just kind of some moves, you know, some herd checks, etc. that you might like. Sorry I didn't have any drone videos, you know, for the updates. My drone's not calibrated, it's not acting correct, and I can't get it to cooperate. But the merch is coming. I did order it. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, I'll have hats and t-shirts. Normally I buy this stuff for kind of friends and family. You guys have expressed some interest. I still don't know why, but if you still want that kind of stuff, happy to sell it to you. Just shoot me an email. For those who've reached out, I've got your contact information, and we'll reach out once that gear arrives. I expect it to be here in the next week or so, 2 weeks at the latest. So thanks for tagging along. Hope everything's good where you're at, and we'll talk soon.